little more than 5 hours to go till kickoff at Empower Field. On the call on Westwood One Altitude, your home for Westwood One. Kevin Harlan along with Kurt Warner. And Kevin joins us now. Thank you, Mr. Harlan, for being on with us. What is interesting that we don't know about this game, Kevin, as you prepare for it? What has kind of got your attention like, I don't know if everybody knows this one, but this is going on tonight.
Well, thanks for having me on. Good to be on with you. Good to be in Denver.
Yes, sir.
These one-score games, these close games, clearly has been a topic. I'm just kind of looking over my notes here. Anything that really kind of steps out. I've seen the Broncos last 2 weeks, as you know, and they've had just these disappointing losses. But I would say this. I would say after looking at some of the other teams, now looking at some of the injuries with the Chargers, how the Chiefs are trying to generate whatever they can to win the division again, and they're always going to have a target on their back, and still growing pains in Las Vegas, that the Broncos, to me, are everything we thought they would be going into the season. They took on a very good Indy team on the road and lost on – I still think it was questionable myself, but I think that technically, you could call holding on every play, so the leverage call was what it was. And going into a place like SoFi last week and losing to a very good Charger team that was healthy, playing well, starts the season 3-0, but we're 2-0 going in. I guess I kind of feel like nothing has changed. This team is what we thought they were. This team has all the markings of a dominant team in the conference, and there is no reason in the least to bail on any of those positive thoughts going into the season and what we thought they would be with the second-year quarterback and the head coach who was trying to bring everything together with an 80% roster turnover since he's been here. I think full steam ahead. I know that I read some of your columnists in this city, and I would tell you, I think, and we do every team, the writers in this town are tough. They're tough, and they're tough on Peyton. Now, I'm not with him every day. I'm not at his practice every day. I'm not in the facility every day. I don't have to deal with him every day. I deal with him every once in a while. But it seems to me from what was prior to Peyton being here to what is now with tons of hope, a real quality quarterback for the future in the making, some real terrific parts, a smart GM who has made some good picks. The doom and gloom sometimes I read from some of the writers in this town is pretty interesting. I'm surprised at it. It's almost more difficult here than I was just in New York yesterday doing the Giants and the Chargers and read 2.5 weeks full of giant writer columns and stories. And I said yesterday in the booth in the Meadowlands, I said that the toughest place maybe for a coach to be is in Denver. I mean, it's interesting how. So I guess I'm saying from the 35,000 foot view and an outsider looking in and not here every day and not on the talk shows and none of that I still am optimistic about this Denver team as I was when the season began, and think there's no reason to feel any kind of like moment. They've run into two good teams, the Colts and the Chargers, playing at the top of their games, and they've lost by a total of 3 points, 4 points. I mean, come on, this is still the team we thought they were going to be. So I'm bullish on the Broncos and feel like everything is still right in front of them, including this division, which I think may have some openings and some gaps where they can work themselves in.
Kevin, it sounds like you are at least still optimistic about Bo Nix from a few of the comments that you just had, but I am curious, you're around the league, you cover different teams every single week. What do you think the thought is around the league right now on Bo Nix's performance early in the season?
I think there are probably 25 teams that wish they had him, maybe
Really?
more. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes. Are you kidding me? I mean, you take away the Jacksons and the Allens, the Mahomes, and the other Herberts and Burrow when he's healthy, and you take away Stafford. Like, so you get by all those names. Love probably, maybe Dak in Dallas. I don't know, but I mean, you get outside that. In teams that are looking for a quarterback that they can build on, I think that there's not a team that is in that mode that wouldn't take Bo in a heartbeat. He is into it. He is a study freak. He is fully invested. He's got leadership skills. He's a realist. He's working for a demanding coach. I would never, ever minimize what Sean puts on these offensive players' iPads. I think he asks this offense, and I think he's asking his young quarterback to do a lot. And the quarterback doesn't seem to blink. I think he's his own man. I think he can stand up for himself, as we've seen. I think he's checking all the boxes. And for all the teams in the league that need a quarterback, and I don't know how many you want. You can go right down the list and start knocking them out. I think all of those teams would take Bo in a second. And I think the head coach, when he made the choice with George Payton in the front office as the GM, I think they knew exactly what they were getting. And I don't know. We're less than a month into this season. We're right at a month into the year. We're not even a quarter of the way through the year for this team because they've only played the 3 games. And I just think that they've got a lot to look forward to. And I think that this is one area where they can just say, there's going to be growing pains. We've seen them. But I think there's enough there that people would say, that's the guy. That he may not have the measurables of a 6'6" Herbert or whoever else you want to of Allen, but he's got everything that you want in your quarterback. And I just think from afar looking in, from the outside looking in, that there are very few teams that are in need of a quarterback or even questioning who they've got right now that wouldn't grab Bo in a heartbeat.
Hey, Kevin, we know, and you do NBA games also, that you're not going to be a competitive team in the NBA without a superstar, and nowadays maybe at least 2. In the NFL, it seems to, and you've just been talking about with Bo, that you got to have that starting quarterback. Cincinnati had that starting quarterback in Joe Burrow, and now he's going to be out basically 3 months. How does this team look different, and how does this team try to manufacture some wins with Joe Burrow on the sideline?
Well, it's tough. I mean, it's like if any team in this league that loses their number one quarterback, I mean, everything you're as a coach, you're dealing with the mental aspect of that. Like, how do I keep my guys engaged, knowing that our guy is now gone? And you can have the receivers, and you can have some defensive players, and you can have the head coach, but there aren't many instances in the history of the league where the number one quarterback, who is a game-changing franchise quarterback, goes down and that team has anything to show for it. There just aren't many examples of it. Every once in a while you'll find it, and when you do, it's one in 100. So you lose Burrow, you lose Mahomes, you lose a Jackson, you lose a franchise cornerstone piece of not just your offense but your team and the face of your team. It's tough. It's tough mentally to rebound from it. And now you got guys probably trying to go even outside what they're supposed to do and what their duties are. Scott, you played, like if you lose a superstar,
Yep.
You feel as a teammate you got to compensate by maybe trying to do more. When that superstar was there, everybody was in their lane. Everybody was checking the boxes they had to check, and they weren't trying to do things they shouldn't be doing. And that really is kind of the thing a head coach has got to do, He's got to reel in these guys. They still stay in your lane, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and right on down and Hendrickson and everybody else that are the headliners for the Bengals. And don't try to do too much. Don't try to extend yourself. Do what you do, and we'll let the quarterback thing kind of play itself out. But you're dealing as a head coach with those two elements, mentally and physically, on the field, what you've got to do. Those are things just as a human to try to work through that because you should do more because your big guy is gone. That's hard to keep yourself back. And that's probably what the Bengals are going through right now. That's maybe what Baltimore is going to have. I don't know what the latest on Lamar is, but that hamstring last night in Kansas City took him out of the game. And it's like when Dak left in Dallas. They had Cooper Rush, and he was fine, but he's not Dak Prescott. And it just changes your team. It changes the way you approach it, what you feel you've got to do, the anxiety level. It hits all those levels.
Hey, 25 NBA media days today. Nuggets are right down the street from your hotel. I'm a little shocked you didn't go over there and try to get you a little one-on-one with the Joker.
It's because I had a Scott Hastings appointment on my book, man.
Oh, that my bad.
Like I'm not going to go talk to him when I can talk to you and your friend. I'm not going to do that. So, it is media day. Began early last week for the teams playing overseas, but around the league today was the day, and love what the Nuggets have done. They've strengthened themselves. As long as he is engaged in what he is, this team is always going to be in the conversation for a championship and one of the elite teams in the league. Him and Jamal, you got your core, and now you build around them. But I think that when we watch Jokic, we're watching a generational talent, as you know here very well with the championship and what he's done league-wide. I just think because he doesn't make headlines and because he isn't always, he just goes about his business and he does it better than anybody except for a handful of players in the history of the game.
Kevin, you were right to hesitate before saying Scott and his friends. That is a leap that you shouldn't assume. So don't blame me for hesitating on that at all.
You could have said no to this.
He caught himself. He caught himself.
There you go.
He caught himself. All right, Kevin, have a great call tonight on Westwood One. Thank you.